Hello and welcome to Is This England, a show where we talk about old England games and ask just how England was this.
Today, we're looking back at a rather strange encounter from 1976 as Don Revie's Three Lions face Italy in the USA Bicentennial Cup at the home of the New York Yankees.
Time can do. Baby, you mean everything to me.
Wow, something different, something truly different.
This is like nothing else I've ever seen before. This is beautiful.
So you heard right, listener. It's England versus Italy in the USA Bicentennial Cup at the home of the New York Yankees.
Amazing.
At the top of our notes, we have a picture of George Costanza, all decked out in his Yankees garb.
Yeah.
To me, he's pretty symbolic of the club. I don't really know much about baseball or anything like that.
No, I know absolutely nothing about it.
Do they still do baseball?
Is it still a thing? Yeah, they still do it every now and then. But yeah, they're kind of like seen as are they like the most recognisable sports team ever? Probably.
Yeah, probably because of the caps.
Yeah, well, yeah, caps and the merch and all that kind of stuff. And
Jay-Z.
Yeah, I guess they kind of also universally hated in America because they're seen as the franchise, the big team, all that kind of stuff, aren't they?
Okay, well, for today's game, they're hosting a football match.
They've done something good there, haven't they?
We'll get into the the merits, the pros and the cons of that as we go through. Before we get too far into the show, I'd like to hold out my two hands in a kind of a begging position, almost like making a little cup, a little bowl. And I'm out here begging y'all for socials interaction. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at @isthis_England. Also drop us an email about any of the shows we've covered, any of the shows you'd like us to cover, any England memories or anything England related, opinions as well.
Yeah.
We love opinions.
Oh, we love it. Yeah, well,
It's what the
some opinions. Yeah,
the game's about opinions, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's going to be a lot coming out of today's game, without a doubt. I think.
Yeah. Also, while I've got you, 5-star reviews, very, very important. They help expose us to new listeners, and there's only so much we can expose ourselves.
Wow. We need to be, as we've said before, knocking those other podcasts out of there because we're sick of them. They're not delivering what we're delivering right now. Who else is ever going to cover this game?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't know it existed.
I had no idea it existed. Let's get to the time capsule first. So the year is 1976. Do you want to start, Nick?
Yeah, we can start with my one, which is Rocky. Perfect.
Yes, one of the best music. Theme songs,
Soundtrack, kind of. Yeah.
Well, definitely across the series. I mean, the Rocky IV soundtrack is an amazing album.
It is. I think all of them put together. There's amazing songs throughout, and they're all kind of put together for different for films and reasons. But yeah, in honor of our hot-blooded Italian Americans that we'll be talking about today, I'm putting in Rocky 1, Rocky original recipe. He's going to do he's going to do a big fight.
Yeah, he is.
This is the one.
So I'm guessing then the first one came out in 1976. You're not.
It did indeed.
You're not putting the second one in and then alluding to the first, which I would probably say is the best one, just because on its own legs, it's a very good film and it doesn't have the weight of the other Rocky films behind it to cloud your judgment.
I never know which one's my favourite. I love most of them. I'd say up to 4. I think they're great for different things.
And including 4?
Yeah, I really like 4 because it's so stupid.
You don't like 5?
5 is awful. It is just,
I enjoyed it when I watched it, but that was once years ago.
No, straight away I hated 5. 4 is great because it's the silliest of them all, and he's like running through the mountains. And it's Ivan Drago and all that.
I think I think it's a quirky fact that I think like 35% of that movie is montage.
Oh,
Rocky
really?
IV. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's why it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
But number one, there's all of that silliness isn't there yet, actually, and it's a very slow, real story.
Yeah.
It's kind of Stallone's big breakout role as well. He wrote the screenplay for it as well.
Didn't he pass it around and people wanted to do the film with somebody else?
Yeah, recast it
And he was
essentially.
like, I'll just bury it in my garden then.
yeah, yeah.
A little bit of an overreaction, but I get his point.
Yeah, definitely.
Why not
But
just bury it in my garden? Well, you don't have to do that.
that's too much. Like, you're going way too big on that Sly, which he wasn't called back then at this point.
No, he was I'm guessing he was a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, again, this is his big first breakout role. I don't think he'd done too much beforehand, and definitely like and written anything to this. Definitely not to this level. I mean, nominated for 10 Academy Awards, winning 3, including Best Director and Best Picture.
Wow.
Stallone as well, nominated for his performance and for original screenplay.
It is almost like an underdog story in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
The success of the film and the franchise. Yeah, Rocky 1. I'm trying to think of like, yeah, it as you say, it's a slow burner. A lot about him and Adrian at the start, and his kind of shyness and social awkwardness, and her absolute like shyness.
Yeah, it's like another extreme yet of even him who's kind of like, oh, it's talking and kind of like almost hiding behind like,
Chucking
the
that
words
ball.
you can't say, chucking the ball, running after chickens. You've got great other performances as well. I think there was, I think the actress who played Adrian was also nominated. There's 2 other best supporting actors that were nominated as well. And just brilliant, really. Carl Weathers is in it as well, which I absolutely love to see as Apollo Creed. Kind of a brilliant kind of villain, but also a lot enough in there to kind of go, well, I see why he's like that. And in later films becomes a big hero within it as well.
An amazing performance from Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
100%. Apollo Creed, man. Have you seen the Creed?
Yeah, I've seen the first one. I've not seen the second, actually, yet. I really enjoyed the first. I was surprised how good it was with Michael B. Jordan and everything along that. I've not seen the second yet, but again...
That's very good as well.
Apparently it's very good, so...
Yeah. I wonder what they'll do for number 3 if they try and emulate and have this
Yeah.
big monster come in, because nowadays you'll pick somebody from the UFC or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You get like Francis Ngannou or John Jones in there.
God, imagine if they got, like, just a mental boxer, like...
Big Tyson.
Yeah, get Fury in it or something.
He'd
like,
be amazing.
clearly in the wrong weight class from what Michael B. Jordan's competing in.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan as well, continuing the legacy. Obviously very young in The Wire and gets shot to death in a... I'll call it a flat, but that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, yeah. It's Michael B. Jordan. It's kind of like it's lived on even through another one. I don't think Sylvester Stallone's attached to this new one.
No, he's I think I saw a thing on Instagram years ago now where he was like on a beach with a barbecue and they were like celebrating the wrapping up of Creed 1, and he was like, this is also not just a wrap up celebration, but I think I'm done with all of this Rocky stuff. Just you guys carry it on.
I think it ended badly on 5, which he says he hates, and then there was Balboa. Was it?
Yeah,
That was good. I liked that.
There's a very famous speech in there which I remember my dad showing me and just going, watch this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was fine. It was a good. Was there another one after that?
So Balboa was the 6th one.
Yeah.
And then there was the 2 Creed films that have come out as well. But I think Stallone for Creed was nominated for Best Actor for that as well. Like, he was brilliant in that. Even like when he steps back, he just slips back into that brilliant performance again.
Have you ever seen Grudge Match?
Grudge? Oh, no, I've not seen
haven't.
that. Is it him and De Niro
It's
having
him-
a fight?
yeah, it's
Fuck that. No way.
It's a sports comedy apparently.
I mean, is it...
Is that a thing? Well,
yeah.
Mike Bassett.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't look right at all. I've seen the posters for it, and it looks too serious. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. This is like sad for both people involved.
Yeah, Robert De Niro continuing his trend of doing more bad films than he has good.
Yeah, he's really got into that credit he'd built up for over so many years of being an incredible actor, and then just dog shit and doing awful adverts. And
Yeah, they definitely outweigh his good. If you're just talking in terms of numbers,
yeah,
you know, quality wise, whatever, I think that the good stuff is good enough to last him forever.
yeah.
And he's kind of proven that because he's done so many bad ones. Are we done with Rocky?
Yeah, that's it. We've rung the bell. That's the end of the fight. On to your one now.
Round 2
Yeah.
of the time capsule. I am putting in the Eagles, Hotel California.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance,
Oh,
See if the copyright clears from that.
we're not getting enough listeners to be sued on copyright. So the Eagles, Hotel California. At the moment, at the time of recording, and I guess for like the last 12 months as well, the Eagles. I was into them when I was really young. I was about 13 when I started playing guitar, and then about 14 or 15 when I got into the Eagles through my mom and my stepdad and my dad, to be fair, all just kind of loving the Eagles. We had a DVD called Hell Freezes Over, which was their reunion show.
Right, okay.
I always remember they started by going, just for the record, we didn't break up. We just took a 25-year vacation.
Ooh.
Which is...
Getting a good joke in there early.
Yeah. But at the moment, like... I got into all sorts of other stuff over the years, but in the last couple of years, and especially the last 12 months, the Eagles have crept right back in, and they are my go-to band when I've had a few beers.
Okay.
Absolutely. They got a live album that came out, I think, last year, live at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, I think. I think WWE did a WrestleMania from there years ago.
Right, okay.
Anyway, and it's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good live album, and they've got I think, why can't I remember his name now? Glenn Frey. He passed away a couple years ago, and they've got his son in the band, and he's literally just like a young version of him. Looks the spit of him, sings like him, sings his songs.
Is it like the Led Zeppelin drummer as well, who kind of they had his son come in as well to do that reunion show, didn't they?
But obviously it's more permanent because they're still touring, and they were playing in Hyde Park, I think, last week. My mum went to see them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, John McEnroe came on and did a song with them, if you can believe that.
What?
I know. He's a musician.
Is he?
I think he was just playing a tennis racket like a guitar.
It's aching to Nick Knowles again, is it?
Yeah. But just on that, there's another lovely moment in that gig where Don Henley does a bit of a speech before one of the songs, and he's like, obviously, Glenn Frey passed away. We lost a brother, we lost a friend, we lost a singer, frontman, and everything, and the spirit of the band. But through all that, we've gained a son, and I'd like to introduce you to his son. And he's amazing, and he's not just popping on for that song; he's just took his dad's place.
Yeah.
But that gig is incredible, and I need to knock myself out of the habit of listening to it really drunk, really late on the weekends. People are 1 a.m. That's a good time to pop the headphones on.
It's Eagles time.
It's Eagles time. But we're looking at Hotel California today. I mean, the song itself, Hotel California, all-time essential rock classic. There can't be an argument, can there?
I mean, on how many, I remember when I was, before going to school, we used to, stick TV on for, half an hour while I had my breakfast, and it was always the rock icon songs, and it was always Hotel California, Deep Purple, these are the kind of things as well. But yeah, it's an absolute staple, isn't it? It's not, Eagles have never been something I've got into for some reason. It's just something that's, escaped me for years. I think because I always feel that all their songs are about 1 million years long.
Oh, that's not quite. I would say that's not true. No.
Okay.
There's other classic songs on the album Hotel California. Life in the Fast Lane being one, a really good up-tempo rock number. New Kid in Town, which is a bit like their classic stuff. Wasted Time, which is really beautiful, and it's kind of like a bit different. It's a real ballad, and just done in this beautiful style that's neither country nor rock, which are their two main kind of staples. But the interesting thing about that and Hotel California is the album was released 1 year after guitarist Joe Walsh joined the band, which is, in hindsight, well, not in full hindsight, but if you took yourself back to that time, it would be seen as a bit of an odd choice. He was very much a rock and roll guitarist, all the drugs, all the booze, all the shagging, and all the insane over the top leads. But he didn't. Yeah, so he didn't really match their style. But what he did do was complement their style perfectly. Prior to this album, they were popular and successful, but they were neither one nor the other. They weren't 100% country bands, so the country audience would like them to a point, but then be like, well, there's better country bands. And the rock fans would be like, well, the kind of soft rock. I mean, they're good. I like
my stuff harder.
Yeah, I like some of the songs, but then Joe Walsh is like a bit of glue that just ties those two sides together. And then I think it's interesting how it just shows in the success of this album, Hotel California. They were so close to something, and it needed an element of the unknown.
Yeah.
And a bit of a risk to be taken.
And something to change things up maybe as well. You see musicians come into bands and it just gives them an entirely different sound that you didn't realise was there, and probably brings out a lot in musicians themselves as well. They go, okay, well, if they're able to do that, we've kind of got free reign and do something different too.
And this blend propelled the band to a an insanely new level of popularity. Hotel California itself is one of only 9 albums of all time. I'm pretty sure this is true. You can never be too sure. To sell more than 40 million copies.
I mean, I can't even get my head around that number.
40 million copies.
Yeah.
And I think out of those 9, the Eagles' greatest hits is
one
another.
of them.
And I think I think that is, for a few years now, overtaken Thriller as the best-selling album of all time.
Oh, really?
Their greatest hits. I mean, they just go to show they're just like a staple. It's a barbecue, you know.
Father's Day always rolls
Father's
round.
Day, yeah. One more thing on this that I didn't know
Yeah.
until I did my research. The working title for Hotel California was apparently Mexican Reggae.
Would the song have gone like that then? Welcome to Mexican reggae.
I reckon that would have been when they would have just had like something.
Yeah, like-
Mexican reggae.
Yeah, like yesterday was scrambled eggs. For
Yeah.
example.
I mean, I don't think it would have had the same impact if it was called Mexican Reggae.
No.
But listen to it with that title in mind, and I think it is actually like Mexican reggae. It's got those. The chord progression is very sort of Latin music. It just in the it's almost like a traditional chord structure as you'd find in a lot of those songs, and the beat is very reggae, but just not pure reggae because it's the Eagles.
Not one thing or the other, much
You know,
like their
yeah.
style, yeah.
But they landed on the perfect mix here, as did Sliced Alone, and I think that's a very strong entry into the time capsule.
I was really struggling at first, but then as soon as we kind of put them together, and it's Eagles American as well, are they?
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. We've done it. We've got our American things in there straight away to just really line up with today.
Got 2 icons of Americana.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. I mean, well done. I mean, that
Well done, us.
that wasn't planned, was it?
No, it was. I did want to try and find something American. I didn't want to put something English in because of where we are, and I stumbled upon Italian American as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that here today.
Yeah. So why did we pick this game? Well, the tournament itself, the USA Bicentennial Cup, is a complete, obscurity. I'd never heard of it.
Nope.
On the platform where we find our games, I had for a while seen a match, England versus Team America, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, that's just America. Maybe one day we'll look at that because it's kind of interesting to see that country's progression over time.
And we've got the USA game coming up in the winter at the World Cup as well. So that was like,
True.
it's another idea.
Yeah, well, as I say, complete obscure tournament. Once we found it and dug a little beneath the surface, we could not resist. And
No.
believe me, there is no stranger set of matches that we will cover than this one. We'll go a bit further into detail on that in the build-up, so hold on to your hats. But first, we're going to look at the state of football at the time, starting in England. 3 weeks before this game, Manchester United faced Southampton in the FA Cup final, with Southampton actually lifting the trophy with a 1-0 win, courtesy of a goal from Bobby Stokes. Interesting.
Yeah, it was. It's still kind of seen as, was this a goal? Was it not for offside? I think it came really late on as well. And it's a very strange one because Southampton were actually 6th in the 2nd division that season, while Manchester United were 3rd in the 1st division. So a lower league club winning the FA Cup, a brilliant story.
Big giant killing. Manager Tommy Docherty swore United would come back the following year, and they did, winning the final against Liverpool and stopping them from doing the treble.
Yeah, I think we've actually spoken about that before, actually, when they came back. But yeah, and he was on the pitch afterwards. He said, we will be back and we will change it. And it's strange when they make these big proclamations and they actually come true. It's quite...
Klopp did it recently.
Yeah,
When they lost the Champions League final to Real Madrid, he was like, where's it next?
First time, yeah.
He's like, where's it? No, recently.
Oh, so he said again they're
Yeah.
going to come back and win it next. Oh, didn't he say...
He said, where's it next year? Like, and I think they went Istanbul. He went, book the hotel.
That's
We're
it,
there.
yeah, that's true.
I love that, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, yeah, it's good, like, to just put your balls on the line and just say, well, this is what I'm going to say and I'm ready to be shot down by it. That is a good thing.
It was, this FA Cup win was the first time Southampton have won a major trophy. I'm not sure how many they win in the years afterwards, but it was also the last time that the Queen attended a final and presented the trophy to the winners.
Oh, okay, I
So a
didn't
little
realise that.
moment in history.
So it's only 10 years since 66 as well, where she famously gave the trophy to England as well.
She's still going, so clearly she's just gone, I can't be doing this FA Cup shit.
Can't be bothered with football, so that.
Yeah,
If someone wins the polo, I'll do that.
These vile pigs at this game. Fans of Is This England will recognise 2 Southampton stars from that day, Mick Channon and Jim McKelliog.
Yeah, from the Scotland game. He was in Jim McKelly. Like, I'm amazed Mick Channon's in the second division.
I know.
Like, still knocking around, and he features today.
He does.
Prominently.
United also had a couple of Is This England alumni in the form of Steve Capel
Yeah.
and Sammy McElroy.
Famously not a right back, even though he's in your team for it.
Two players who featured in our look back at the first 11 games where we selected our starting 11 for England and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So home nation's representation is strong, but back to the first division then in English football. Manchester United, obviously they didn't get to lift the FA Cup final, but they had only been promoted from the second division into the top division the year earlier. So finishing third is a bit of an achievement in itself. Well done to Man United. They would finish one place ahead of Derby County, who had lifted the first division title in the 1974-75 season. So that's the year prior to this. Mm-hmm. So they've been promoted and finished one place above the
reigning champions.
The reigning champions, yeah. However, it would be Liverpool's turn to lift the trophy this year as they pipped QPR by 1 point.
So I looked into this and I was like, Liverpool QPR, why does that ring a bell? So amazingly, the league season was due to finish in late April, but due to Liverpool being in European competition at that point and their commitments, they were granted a delay in their final league game of the season, meaning the destiny of the league would be decided until the final day, which would then be the 19th of May. So QPR and the rest of the league had played all their games.
Yeah.
And there had to be then a delay to say, well, Liverpool have got to play their final game, and it was like 3 weeks later.
Who did they play?
So they played Wolverhampton Wanderers, who were trying...
Wolves watch.
There you go.
Wolverhampton, all right.
And they were playing Wolves, and they were trying to stay up as well, but Liverpool won 3-1 that day, relegating Wolves and winning their league title.
Amazing. And what else is amazing is that Norwich City would have the league's top scorer that season. He got 23 goals, even though his team only finished in 10th place. And his name, for fans of Father Ted, is Ted McDougall.
So Ted, isn't it?
That's both of them. Both of the boys.
Middle name Doyle.
Ted Doyle, Jack McDougall.
They're all in there.
They're all in there.
From Craggy Island. We've done it now.
And you know, as well as helping themselves to the league title with that win over Wolves, Liverpool had European business to deal with. And they would deal with that business very, very nicely indeed. They won the UEFA Cup for the second time in their history after a 4-3 aggregate victory over Club Brugge in the final. This was split over two legs, the first being a 3-2 victory for Liverpool at Anfield, and the second a 1-1 draw at the Olympia Stadium in Bruges. And
two-legged final.
Two-legged final
So
and
strange.
a 4-3 aggregate score. And your man Keggy is at the heart of it. He scored Liverpool's third and fourth goals over the two ties. So basically the ones that separated, you know, without his goals in that world where you just take it as black and white, they lose 3-2. So well done, big kegs.
Yep.
England were also represented in Europe by West Ham United, who had won the FA Cup the previous season. They made it all the way to the Cup Winners' Cup final and lost to Anderlecht. So it was Belgium versus England for all the European gold.
I know, it's a great thing, isn't it, when you see, like... It's so rare you see two countries actually have teams in finals at the same time.
It was all England the other year, wasn't it? Wasn't it Man City, Liverpool. No, Man City, Chelsea. And then you had Arsenal and...
Oh, no, it would have been another European side. I think it was, wasn't it Arsenal, Chelsea, and...
No, it was Liverpool, Spurs.
Liverpool, Spurs.
In the Champions League, and then Arsenal, Chelsea in the Europa League. So that's the state of football at the time. And we're on to the build-up to today's game. Where do we even start?
Yeah, we've just had Euro 76 qualifying. That's probably the best place to look, isn't it, right now?
Yeah, and we are really in the dark ages. Our qualifying group for Euro 76 consisted of, obviously, England, Portugal, Czechoslovakia and Cyprus. On paper... I never know what to think of teams like Czechoslovakia and stuff from this era. You always think they might be a bit tasty and what have you. And at Portugal, I'm never sure when they're on an upward trajectory or a downward.
Yeah, Portugal seem to, like, through the years do fluctuate. Like, I think in the 60s when they had Eusebio, they had a really good side. And then you kind of get to this point and they're not what they quite were. I think Portugal now, it seems that they're just always a constant, aren't they? They'll always qualify for a World Cup through a playoff. They'll always get out of the group stages pretty much, and then they'll go out to the first real decent team they play. Yeah.
Let's go a little further back, actually. So in the wake of the failure to qualify for the World Cup 1974 in West Germany, England began their first competitive campaign under new manager Don Revie with a convincing 3-0 victory over Czechoslovakia. Well done. Good start, but it would all end in heartbreak with a second place finish for England in the qualifying group. And as a result, you don't get to qualify, mate. You fail to advance to the Euros in... where did I say the Euros were? I don't think I have, actually. Spain, I think they were, or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Just made that up, really. The real difference was the games against Portugal. England drew both of their games with Portugal, while Czechoslovakia, who won the group, actually, by a single point, thrashed Portugal at home 5-0 and drew away. So it's those 4 points over 2 and England 4.
And they get to go to Yugoslavia. I just looked that up.
It's in Yugoslavia. Well, not only do they go, but despite England's horrible performance in qualifying, we get the moral victory because Czechoslovakia went on to win the tournament.
They did indeed, yeah. They beat West Germany on penalties after extra time, after the game ended 2-2 in the final in Belgrade. Do you know what was invented in that final on that day?
Is it the golden goal?
It wasn't, no.
Well, not penalties, because we've seen them. What would have been invented? I can't think of any other VAR?
You are close when you said penalties. The Panenka penalty was invented.
Oh.
So the winning penalty was scored by a player called Panenka, who, as we would know, that just drifted it down the middle.
We've seen a few.
Yeah, we've seen a few in England. But yeah, but it was the chip as well. So it wasn't just down the middle. It was that lovely chip. And that was the penalty to win it as well. So
wow,
big balls on him as well to do that.
Really, like, it takes something to take something as simple as a penalty and turn it into something completely different.
Yeah.
And you know, imagine being known for like a penalty style that's like the epitome of cool.
Yeah, and as well to kind of bring a variable in that you probably don't need to do, which is like I don't know, like people who do like a step up, like a run up or anything like that. It kind of brings a bit of uncertainty, which isn't always appreciated, and just makes I've got to get that right, and that's going to be right. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to chip it down the middle.
So go on.
I was going to say, and you've got to rely on that goalkeeper. I guess they would always move though, wouldn't they? Because I guess you blast it down the middle, but by the time they're going to come, it's like, well, maybe they're not going to blast it with how the technique's going to go or how quickly they're running up. But yeah, just made to look a mug as well when you do that, aren't you?
Yeah, but the striker looks so cool.
Yeah, he looks better than you look bad, at least.
Did Benzema do one this year in the Champions League as well? I think it might have done a couple, actually.
I think against City, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So England aren't going to the Euros in 76, hence their availability for the USA Bicentennial Cup. Spoilers alert, we're going to look at Italy now. And if you're thinking, well, Italy are there as well. Did they qualify? They didn't.
No.
They actually fared worse than England. They finished third in their group, and that group consisted of the Netherlands, Poland, and Finland. So that's not great for them, is it?
No, I think it's probably a tougher group though. Poland.
Well, Czechoslovakia won the tournament.
They did, but Poland is not far away from the Poland team we covered in the 73 game, was it?
Yeah, true.
So it's only a couple of years ago. And then the Netherlands would be starting to become a big team around this time in the 70s. Maybe, I think they got to the final in Germany, when West Germany when they hosted the World Cup. So yeah, that is a tough group. Italy, Netherlands and Poland and poor little Finland right there.
Yeah, just as a little side note as well, both England and Italy were drawn in the same World Cup qualifying group for 78, which just added a little bit of extra spice to today's game. It's kind of in between the qualifying campaign games.
Yeah.
But yeah, both teams have got a bit of space in the diary in the summer. Enter the USA Bicentennial Cup. Now, I genuinely never heard of it.
Yeah, I know. I literally hadn't either.
I mean, is it a spiritual predecessor to Le Tournoi?
I think. Well,
I think we do one about a mini World Cup recently as well.
I think when we covered England Argentina, there was a mini World Cup that was hosted in Brazil previously that Argentina won. So it isn't like uncommon for teams to come together and have these little round robin tournaments, which is always good. But yeah, this USA Bicentennial Cup, funnily enough, never been done again.
Yeah, well,
hence its name.
I was going to say, yeah, you'd have to really mess with time to be able to make another one of these. So it's a summer tournament staged in the United States, primarily as a means of promoting soccer in the USA. Obviously, the main hook, though, is that this forms part of celebrations marking 200 years of independence for America. Well done, you guys. Insert Hamilton reference here. Have you seen Hamilton?
No, still not seen it.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's all about 200 years prior to this game.
Okay, then.
And he doesn't actually reference the Bicentennial Cup in the play. So
I won't bother then.
yeah, rubbish. So in terms of American soccer at the time, even today, it's still not where you'd imagine that it should or could be or will be. I still feel like it's gonna be.
It could be a thing where if something springs it off again. Well, they've got the World Cup next after Qatar, haven't they? Them, Canada, and Mexico. Maybe that will be another thing of even more people are going to get into it, because the people who love it really love it over there. Like Americans love sport like nothing else do. There no other country.
Which is why I think at some point, surely they're just going to go, we want to win this and we want to be the best and sod the Champions League and stuff like that. Like, do you think we'll ever see a day when the world's best players play in America in their peak? Because it's an attractive proposition in terms of the location. Like, why would you not want to?
Yeah, if you or I were a footballer and we kind of would play wherever possible, if you got the chance to go to America for a year, there's no way you'd turn that down, would you? But I guess you think differently because you've made it that far and you want to excel. I mean, you couldn't imagine
if you look at
Mbappe going now, could
or
you?
like Haaland, I was going to say, I just wonder if that will ever happen. I feel like I just don't think it can. I feel like it should, and like everything about America leads it to being like it will, but England has so much history in football that like I feel like it's always going to be up there.
But I think you've also got the draw and the money. The money's not there for them yet, is it, to be able to bring players in, which is predominantly why they move to certain clubs and countries.
Not to promote another podcast, but have you listened to the Athletics podcast about Wayne Rooney going back to DC United?
No, I've not listened to it yet. I've got it though. But
interesting. I didn't know about the financial systems they have over there to make it a really fair league.
Oh, like the salary cap and like certain, you can only, because I've started, there's once or twice I've gone on Football Manager to try and start a save in America.
Yeah.
And it's just impossible. You get about 2 minutes in and you're like, oh, I can't even have that player who's in my team now. Forget it and just close the game. I just can't get my head around it. And I never will.
I think it's a good thing for Rooney because he's almost like, well, I can just test myself on a level playing ground and we'll see if I can just do it off management alone.
After he's been like hamstrung at Derby as well, and I did everything possible to try and keep them up and should have kept them up if it weren't for financial regularities, but would they have had some of the players in that position without them? So
at this time, we're kind of in the NASL.
The NASL, yeah,
the North American Professional Soccer League, which had started in the 1960s. By this point, it had attracted big names, so the reputation that it's continued to have. So you had players like Pele, Bobby Moore, and Eusebio joining. So at the end of their careers, those type of players, and it's still kind of seen as that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think because the NASL's not a thing anymore. It's the MLS, isn't it? So that's been converted, because I think after the World Cup in '94, I don't think it had done as well. So they kind of disbanded it, and then MLS was launched. So it was kind of a big rebrand and a bit of a different try, really.
So that leads us to the Bicentennial Cup, and it's a 4-team tournament consisting of 3 former World Cup winners. So they got the big dogs in, all of whom didn't have much on that summer. England and Italy, obviously, who didn't qualify for the Euros. Brazil, who...
Always around, aren't they? They're always, them and England, I think I've said before, always ready to hoik themselves out for a tournament, aren't they?
And they are competing alongside Team America. Fuck yeah.
There's no way we couldn't have put that in, could we?
Yeah, Team America, not the USA national side, which did exist and had beaten England in a famous game.
In 1950, I think it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah. They knew they were nowhere near ready for this level of competition. The depth wasn't there in the league. So instead, they decided to pick a NASL 11 consisting of the best players from that league, American or otherwise.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I always think they should do this for like Premier League and La Liga. I mean, we don't need another game that's pointless to add on to the like already crowded thing. But if you were going to do one,
that would be held in space, wouldn't it? That one.
Oh my God, yeah.
Live streamed just straight to your eyeballs,
like Google Glass or something.
Yeah. A NASL 11. The team would be. Well, not calling them NASL 11, Team America.
Team America, let's use the right one, yeah. We've got so much joy out of it so far.
They would be managed by an Englishman in the shape of Ken Murphy. His CV included his playing CV included more than 300 appearances for Darlington and a century at both Woking and Watford.
Perfect man for the job.
Yeah. In his managerial career, he'd had an okay time at Sheffield United. He'd landed them a sixth place finish in the first division, despite difficult financial circumstances. However, the following year he got off to a really bad start, was sacked and moved to America.
Again, why not? Just you got this opportunity. Do you want to move to America and imagine this manager's made up team we've just done? Yeah, fine. Yeah, who's in the team? I'll come to that in a minute.
Well, he didn't move specifically for the Team America role. He was the manager of New York Cosmos at the time, and their roster.
Yeah,
an American,
and it is a roster. Yeah,
included Pele and Gordon Banks.
Again, do you want to manage Pele? Yes, please.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose you would, wouldn't you? He'd be hard work, I think.
And also imagine the flights to America back then as well. Probably got a fireplace on the plane at that point as well. It would have been just glorious, wouldn't it?
Banks didn't make it to the Team America lineup, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But a home nations lad did, in the form of David Clements, who had faced England 8 times in the colours of Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Late withdrawals from the squad for Team America included Englishman Rodney Marsh and George Best.
I mean, they definitely went out on the piss, didn't they? They went sod this because they were big friends. I think they were both at Fulham together as well. I don't know if maybe they met here. Yeah, I think it would have been post them being at Fulham together. So they would have been friends. So yeah, definitely just sat that off and they couldn't be arsed with it.
So despite Banks, Best and Marsh dropping out, he still was able to call upon Pele as well as Bobby Moore.
Unbelievable. You absolute turncoat. I knew you nicked that watch.
Unbelievable. Truly is. Let's have a look at how the tournament itself starts. Then the first round of fixtures saw Team America lose 4-0.
Bloody rubbish.
To Italy. Future England manager Fabio Capello was amongst the goals for Italy on that day. In their first game, England lost 1-0 to Brazil, with the goal coming from, and I'm not making this up, this is the actual name of the man who scored the goal. This is a Brazilian football player from the 70s called Roberto Dynamite.
Fucking brilliant, isn't it? What more could you want from this?
Imagine the marketing push around him these days. Instagram just everywhere. Oh my God.
He'd have his own emoji.
Roberto Dynamite.
Fucking brilliant, isn't it? I mean,
Roberto's great.
Roberto's a great start.
Dynamite.
It's not even spelt like dynamite, which makes it look even better, actually, doesn't it, when it's written down?
Looks cool. Dinamite. So they replaced the Y with an I.
I mean, it's his parents, isn't it? It's his surname.
It's his heritage. Yeah.
They've not just invented him for the Team America Bicentennial Cup, have they?
Yeah. But he I think it was a really late goal against England, so they lost 1-0. Italy won 4-0. So it's kind of all to play for as we head into today's game. Now, amongst all of the Team America excitement, listeners, you may have actually forgotten that we're covering England versus Italy.
Yes.
Boo. We want to see Bobby Moore. Don't worry. We'll cover that game 100 billion%.
Yeah, cannot wait. We've just stopped ourselves just about covering it because we were excited about this one because it's quite a fun one.
Yeah. We're going to look at the lineups here, so a bit of context. Italy, well, to be honest, both sides, they're in a rebuilding phase. Fulvio Bernardini had led Italy since the end of the last World Cup. However, by September 1975, Enzo Bearzot was appointed as the manager and Bernardini became technical director.
Moved upstairs.
At international level.
And I mean, what are you even doing at that point? You are just doing the Walter Winterbottom and making sure everyone's got hotels probably, aren't you? And I'm kind of looking at youth football, but not really.
Scouting, mainly scouting.
Yeah.
Scouting where? All over.
What are you doing? I'm looking in the video library. Oh, yeah. How are you spelling library there?
Even Bearzot, who came into the manager role, he was told that his job was going to be reassessed on June the 30th. So actually, considering, this is the end of May, and it's not a joke tournament. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not an ultra competitive tournament, but for him, a chance to stake his claim and go, I can continue to lead this. I've just won the bloody USA Bicentennial Cup, but you can't sack me after that.
No, exactly. But I've brought that trophy home.
The Italy team itself was based around the Turin axis of Juventus and Torino. Torino had just won Serie A that year. And yeah, as we say, they're in a rebuilding phase, but this group of players would go on to form the backbone of the Italy side all the way through to the 1978 World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the lineup and the subs. In goal, we got Dino Zoff. We got a defence of Roghi, Benetti, Belugi, Fascetti, and Rocca. That's a 5-man defence for the eagle-eyed listener. Midfield of Cosio, Capello, Antonini, and Pellicci, and a lone striker of Graziana. On the bench, we've got Maldera, Zaccarelli, Sala, Castellini, and Bottega. I am shocked that Fabio Capello isn't a centre-back. I just presumed he would be.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I wasn't sure. Oh, maybe I knew he was a midfielder. I think he played in the 66 World Cup.
You're joking.
I think he played in 66 against North Korea when they went out as well. So he's... You never see his face in this game, but he's always looked old. There's a picture you've put in the notes. He looks terrifying, like more than when he's younger, I think. Again, he's like a Frankenstein's monster kind of character, isn't he? Like his eyes are so deep.
Yeah. Don't know much about the bench. Don't know much about the team, to be honest. Dino Zoff is a name that rings a bell. I think he was like a World 11 Legends player on one of the Pezzis or something back in the day.
Yeah, probably seen as Italy's best goalkeeper ever with Buffon. Won a lot with Italy as well, kind of as much as you can, and at club level. Yeah, seen as an all-round great. And I think he was also Italy manager. I want to say he was manager in the 1990 World Cup. Could be wrong, but you know that's just what it is. And yeah, I didn't really know any of the other players either, bar Capello and Zoff. So excited to see what the hell they're going to bring into this game.
Yeah, it was actually later than that. 1998 to 2000 was when he managed Italy. Big Dino Zoff.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Was he manager then when we did the tournoi? No, 97 that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that was Maldini.
Oh, so Maldini went after the tournoi, after England battered them and he got us off. Oh, no, maybe it would have been after that World Cup.
Zoff may have come in after that World Cup.
There you go then, fair enough. But yeah, really...
Love a good bit of well-researched speculation.
Just vagueness, utter vagueness.
Is Hungary in Italy? Where's Czechoslovakia?
It's in Spain, isn't it?
Do you want to guide us through England's kind of 11 and a bit of context around that?
Yeah. So Don Revie's England had their mind on World Cup qualifier against Finland in June in Helsinki. And yeah, saw this game as a bit of a preparation for that as well.
I saw this tournament as preparation, really.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean, there's one point where Don Revie's actually asked about the Finland game in this as well, isn't he? Which is quite fun. Obviously, taking part in the annual Home Nations Championships with Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland in the weeks preceding this tournament. So a warm-up for a warm-up tournament. It just never, ever stops, does it, the Home Nations?
Love it.
Yeah, Revie had taken over in the fall of 1974 and had overseen England's European Championship elimination at the hands of Czechoslovakia, as we've already covered. And he'd like to tinker around with his formation and tactics still at this point. Doesn't feel like he's quite got his feet under the table. Liverpool's Kevin Keegan, the star man, obviously, as we've discussed earlier, one of the big stars in world football. Prior to the Cup, Revie was faced with a backup goalkeeper, Peter Shilton, so backup.
Yeah.
His request to be omitted from England duty as he was tired of being an understudy to Ray Clements. Will this ever stop?
No.
It's just every time we do this.
You think of his record as well. Imagine how many he could have had if it wasn't for bloody Clement.
Just whinging as well all the time. Well, I don't want to play. And it's like, okay then. And then even though we go back on his decision in August and pick up about 90 caps, like straight from there anyway. But yeah, here we are with this. I'll go into the England lineup. So in goal, they've got James Rimmer and there's David Clement, Phil Thompson, Michael Doyle and Anthony Towers with Phil Neal. And they've also got Ray Wilkins, Mitch Channon, captain for the first time, Gordon Hill, Trevor Brooking, and Joe Royal. So
they're both kind of playing a 5 at the back sort of thing, aren't they?
It seems, I mean, that's news to me with this game.
Yeah. We've got a bench as well.
Yeah, there's a bench too. Joe Corrigan, Mick Mills, Trevor Cherry, Ray Kennedy, and Peter Taylor. That completes the England team.
Yeah. First start for big Jimmy Rimmer.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Rimmer, who the hell is that? Never, ever heard of him before. Also, where's Ray Clements?
Yeah. So
why is Ray Clements not in the team? Because Peter Shilton said that if he was in it, he didn't want to be in it. I don't think Ray Clements is real.
So that's down. He's down to his 3rd and 4th keepers now. Yeah.
So why is he buggered off? Again, I don't think he's a real person. I think Peter Shilton's just made him up.
I hate to break it to you, but Jimmy Rimmer, this is his only ever appearance for England.
Poor Rimmer.
Poor Rim.
I know, yeah. Well, is there any surprise with bloody Clements and Shilton arguing between each other? Like, you're never going to get another game between them two, aren't they? Is he playing while I'm coming?
It's also a debut start for Ray Wilkins.
Yeah, lovely Wilkins is in there as well. Hair like a lion in this game, isn't he?
Lovely Brooking as well.
Oh, lovely Brooking. I was so glad when I saw Trevor Brooking in there. And more Mick Channon.
More Mick Channon. The man is just non-stop. There's your Hamilton reference.
Oh, is that not? Is that one? Is it? There you go.
The man is just non-stop. I mean, it's part of doing this show, and I could have gone my entire life without knowing what Mick Channon is.
What a Mick Channon was.
Yeah. What's a Mick Channon?
Well, we're introduced to something else just right now as well. Tony Towers.
Tony Towers.
Tony Towers is playing. Is this a joke?
Why?
Tony Towers is playing for England. Are you serious?
Have you heard of him before?
Never heard of him. I mean, I can't be alone. You heard of him, you're telling me?
No. It just the way you were saying it was like,
This idiot.
how did he make it into the squad?
No, he's not real. I don't feel these people are real that are playing this. Like an AI has invented this team or something. I mean, Tony Towers. And the thing is, though, throughout commentary, they keep saying Tony Towers as
They
well.
do.
It's like Johnny Evans or something like that. They just can't only just go Towers on the ball.
Tony Towers.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I really like this, but Christ almighty, they say it a lot.
We're getting into the build-up of the game now, the anthems, the kits, the general ambiance, and it all feels very off straight away on our stream. What's going on? Well, the game is held at Yankee Stadium. We're in the heart of New York. Yankee Stadium is a baseball stadium.
It is indeed, isn't it? Where the New York Yankees famously play.
Yeah, so straight away you see the what is it called, the baseball diamond.
I mean, you're not asking the right person here, but let's go with diamond. Yeah,
So to try and describe it, I'm sure people know what it is, but if not, it's that sort of sandy diamond shape where, you know, you've got the bases and you've got the man throwing the ball to the batter.
The man throwing the ball.
There's a man and he's throwing a ball at someone. But that's really visible. I mean, not really visible. They've done nothing to
Hide it at all, have they?
It's just 100% there.
Yeah.
And it looks like, almost like, there's so many people on when this stream starts, because you've got photographers, you've got managers, you've got everyone. It looks like a big prison yard.
Yeah, and it's got the players warming up as well in the middle of all this too. It's like, you know what, like in like Middle America, and it's just kind of like UFOs just land and leave like the patches. It's like exactly like that. It's just this big brown area where there's no pitch anymore, and they've just drawn the lines over the brown.
It's absolutely grim. The stadium itself had recently been remodeled at a cost of 50 million, taking its capacity to 50,000 seats. Yeah, so we mentioned the baseball diamond. That's not being tidied away. I don't know how you tidy that away and
can't
manufacture grass into that in a quick space of time. But it would have been a very quick space of time, because we learned that the Yankees have played here 5 times in the last 7 days prior to the game.
One of them was 24 hours ago. Utter madness. It's just like, is it always going on? I feel like baseball is one of those sports where they have like a million games, and like, is it that well attended anymore? I just don't know. Believe it. Even here, I think it's 50.
Home games as well for the Yankees.
Yeah, that's just home. That's not even when you go away. I mean, 50,000 seats. I don't think they say what the capacity is. Like, I think they say it's just over half full maybe today. So
It gets more full as you go through the game.
Oh, yeah, it's just more people just start drifting. I guess that's quite similar to baseball, because my friend went to a baseball game and he was just like, yeah, people were just leaving and coming. They didn't really care what happened. They were
It's a
just
long
there for the
sport,
day.
isn't it?
It's very, but like cricket, people don't do that as much.
Nah, but we're English, mate.
Yeah,
we're
that's
getting
true.
our money's worth.
Yeah, that's very true, isn't it? Yeah.
So we've covered the pitch and a bit of the stadium. We get an absolute. I did not expect this. The commentators for the game mentioned that temperatures had been in the 80s that day, followed up with a startling revelation. They're joined on commentary by Kevin Keegan.
He's not on the pitch.
He's not on the pitch.
He's England's best player.
He's just been busy winning the UEFA Cup, mate.
But like, I'd love to know if he started the Brazil game either. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's just flown out there and they're not ready for him. But yeah, Keegan's on comms, amazing. And the English commentator, I feel like we've listened to him before. I think he's the one who was on the Northern Ireland game.
I think so as well, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't confirm it. But
No.
the voice rang a bell and the style of commentary.
Yeah, the English commentator on the main one sounds like he's in some sort of like World War II fighter jet. like returning back to Jerry.
Yeah, Kevin Keegan. Keegan says, they ask him, like, so what about this pitch then? And he goes, yeah, the players were a little bit upset when they heard it was still basically a baseball pitch. But it's a baseball pitch for them too.
Of course it is. Like he's cut himself off from thinking it's an excuse because, like, yeah, both teams have to play on this, Kevin. I mean,
It's a weird thing to say. Like, you can go, oh, it's hot for them too, or it's you know, when they play at altitude, it's the same for both
raining
teams.
or whatever.
But you're never going to hear anyone ever go, well, it's a baseball pitch for them too, so we'll see you out there.
Well, actually, for us, it's a bowls pitch, so don't even worry about that. And yeah, we see pre-game as well. We get Jimmy Rinner.
So he does exist, the big rimmer.
Apparently so, yeah. Pre-game, making his debut.
The commentator says he spoke to him before the game, and he said about his debut, whatever happens now, they will never take this away from me, which I thought was nice.
Really, really nice it is.
And it is your only game.
This is your only chance, mate.
You're not getting called up again, mate.
Ray Clements is fuming. Peter Shilton's watching at home, throwing stuff at the TV.
He's
Who's
like,
this idiot?
I didn't think they'd go rimmer. I did not. I was expecting a call.
I bet that was so like Shilton said he wasn't going, so Clements was like, well, I'm not going either then. I'm not winning caps without him sat on the bench.
He only does it to cook Peter Shilton. Like, he just wants to just own him.
And what happens in this era as well, there's a coin flip and it's just saying who's going to like shoot one end or the other.
So stupid.
No one cares. What's the point? And then they change ends.
The change ends, we've seen this before, so they all make their way to one end just guessing.
Yeah.
And then they do a coin toss.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, we'll have the other one. So
Who
then
cares?
they all have to switch.
You're in America.
I know,
Who cares? And as well,
Although, actually, in this game,
yeah, there's a
that
lot
baseball
of
diamond
Italians.
doesn't cover a lot of what.
Italians, it's Italian Americans in New York. There's a lot of that. They've definitely got more fans here than England.
Yes, so they want to be towards the fans, but also the baseball diamond only covers.
Yeah, true.
It's not on one.
But
half
again,
of the
it's
pitch.
like you're gonna have to play on it both halves.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get different time. And as we see the players like swap ends again, the camera only follows Jimmy Rimmer, and I don't think anyone even talks about him when they're doing it. It's just like, why are you looking at him?
I reckon it's
so much
Keegan.
else- So yeah.
Being really friendly.
Oh, get on, Jim.
He's a good lad. He might never have this opportunity again.
I know,
Make a Wish Foundation.
Strange.
And then while everyone's warming up and changing sides, we hear dun 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 dun.
And it's following Rimmer as well, doing it. Apparently, that's the only music they've got in the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
The only hymn sheet that the person on the organ's playing.
Has anyone got Mexican reggae sheet music?
There is also a very loud American sat by the commentators as well, who is screaming as they change ends, which I loved.
Kit wise, I actually really like both kits. They're just very plain and yeah, it's just like classic. I always go classic Pez, you know.
Yeah, I like Italy's more than England's. I think we saw England's in the 76 game, and it just looks like a polo shirt that your nan would buy by accident, doesn't it? It's not great.
Very true. So it's England versus Italy at the Yankee Stadium for the USA Bicentennial Cup. It's Friday, the 28th of May, 1976, and we are off.
No more pre-game.
No more pre-game.
No pre-game, baby. We're into it now.
So Italy are attacking away from the only fans we could see at the time. And I thought it was 1/4 of the stadium that was filled with fans. So
Right.
they're attacking. They're defending the baseball diamond, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
England
yes.
are attacking towards that.
Yeah.
Italy craft a nice chance early doors, but it's offside.
And the crowd don't know that it's offside. And the roar from the crowd is amazing. It's like an amphitheater or something. It sounds incredible. It's only like 1 minute in as well, and they're already losing their minds.
A bit of early commentary states that the Italians are apparently surprised about England's selection today, giving people a few starts and playing Jimmy Rimmer and Tony Towers. And apparently the manager had told the commentator the only player we really feared was Keegan. And Keegan stays really calm.
Yeah, nice and quiet, isn't he? The only damage Keegan can do is in the comms box. He's going to do a lot of damage in here today if given the chance. He's probably been...
I've dropped me big gulp. I'm just trying to think of like something that could be mustard instead that he'd put on his hot dog. Like, I've put bloody nuclear waste on my hot dog. Oh, bloody Nora.
Who's giving me this oil, this crude oil? These over Keegan. He's
Burning through my hand.
He's probably sat there with he's probably been handed like a Boston Red Sox cap.
Can you imagine how big his flares are? Definitely a Boston Red Sox cap.
Yeah, Red Sox cap because he's wearing it in Yankee Stadium. Probably the fans are like pummeling him for it as well. It's just like, you mess with us, you get the horns.
And early, we're adapting to a totally different game of football than we've ever seen in terms of the stadia. And we see that the bench for the players and the managers is just literally a row of chairs right next to the touch, like inches away from the touchline.
It's far too close, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think, move it back a bit.
And it's like sports day or PE, like assembly in school. There's just a row of chairs.
Yeah, we get onto that in a minute as well. But because you've got a row of chairs and everyone's just sat there watching the game go by. But just move back a couple of feet. Like the players must just think, can you just bugger off, please? This is too weird.
There's a few characters that you can see on the bench, though, isn't there?
Well, on the bench as well is what I can only describe as a pearly king. So he's sat on the bench with a big St. George's shield on a pole, and he's holding it, sat there like he's from the York dungeon or something. Why is he there?
We don't know about phones here. When you go and they pretend to be from the oldie worldy.
Yeah. Oh, what is that you brought out? But why is he there?
Just to be English.
But I just don't understand why he's there, because I've not seen him on the pitch beforehand compared to everybody else. But the fact that he's sat with the coaches, he's not got his own chair, he's not buggered off to half time, to do something like a mascot or whatever, and he's just sat there, just being like scrudging the England players and whoever's on the bench. I don't.
Will you fuck off, mate?
That
why fucking are you here? Sword that you're holding and what have you?
And as well on the corner, there is on the halfway line. There's a corner flag.
Yeah.
Why is there a corner flag on the halfway line? It's not like there's not a line. If it goes into that half, then we've got to be really careful.
Why is that there? I
There's
didn't even notice that.
I cannot fathom why that is there. Also, behind the flag, there's two people sat on a bench on a chair with a table, like they're reading the news or something. Who are they? Why are they here either?
I don't know.
Delegates. It's like they're scoring a boxing match or
judges.
something. I don't know. And then lastly as well, you see there's a bit of a wider shot and there's someone in a gold suit stood behind them in flares. It looks like they're out of ABBA or something, just stood there with their arms crossed. And you're like, I am watching none of the game at this point. I am just totally in the top of my screen.
And we see people who are watching the game and whose job it is to take photographs of the game. It's our Jims, our lovely Jim from Friday Night Dinners.
Yeah.
But they're kind of cool. It's almost as though if Jim from Friday Night Dinner joined the Strokes.
Oh, it really is. It's far too cool for one of our gyms, isn't it? They look very good.
Yeah, we've had our sort of old-fashioned ones in the past, but these are a level up. They're flared up. They look cool and trendy.
Yeah, and with that as well, with our old gyms, we also kind of get a different kind of a version as well. So you're also greeted by a few New York newsies as well. So you see them they're these giant cameras with a big bulb on the top as well. This is still the era of them using that. It's they stood outside of a club waiting for Dean Martin to come out or something with a bit of paper in their trilbies as well for the news. They look so strange.
I'm getting real, floor is lava.
Yeah.
I'm getting vibes of that from the baseball diamond because I was just watching the game, just going, somebody's going to touch you on that sand in a minute.
Yeah,
what's going to happen? And nobody did for a little while.
Yeah.
There's a long shot from Antonini. It's well struck, but just wide. And then something else unusual happens because he has that shot, and then over the tannoy system throughout the stadium, you hear a man or whatever he may be going, shot by Antonini.
Oh my God.
And I thought, is that going to happen all night? Then it goes out for a throw-in and it goes, Italy, throw-in.
I'm barely paying attention at this point to the game. I'm just there's a commentator announcing in the stadium it's God on commentary on something. And how does he know what's going on? Has he got a thing? He's foul from behind by some guy, who knows? And then at one point, Phil Neal goes down injured and God starts talking. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, the cosmos. And it's just and the screen goes entirely black when this happens as well. And it starts to flicker. And it's we're looking up at stars or something. And then God continues, the cosmos will return to Yankee Stadium on June 16th against Boston.
I wish that guy would shut up. That's what I'd be like in the stadium.
I loved this. I loved him. Did you ever see Louis Theroux where he's talking to that guy who thinks he can communicate with the alien Corton? And he just goes into a trance almost in the background.
Central Control, this is Addy. Central Control, this is Addy. On behalf of the Honorable Corton Representative, we are ready to begin with the information which we have for these individuals in this time period. Let us begin with the individual who's to the left forefront of the instrument.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to that. It really annoyed me.
I loved it every time something, because as well, he does it for like crosses at times.
Yeah.
And you just think, when are you coming in? Why are you coming in? Like, did the people really need you here, like telling them what's happening? But I was like, yeah, I'm all up for it. I'm not paying attention to the game. I'm listening to him.
It's just like a bit of overtime. Yeah, I'll take it, yeah. Why not? It's like, it can't be that different from baseball.
I've got nothing on.
Aside from all the weirdness, Italy are looking by far the better side in the early exchanges. England's defence is absolutely shocking.
It's all over the place, isn't it? For the first 5 minutes, kind of, they don't really feel like they're in a weird surrounding, and it's almost like that affects them slightly because they're just like, this isn't right. Well, where's everything normal?
Yeah, well, 5 minutes in, there's a Italy corner, and 3 England players go for it completely unchallenged by any Italian. So you've got the goalkeeper and 2 defenders. They can't even clear it properly. And then Tony Towers himself plays a short ball back for his keeper. So Shannon and Rimmer both go for that one at the same time, alongside a chasing Italian striker. A chance falls for an Italian player, I'm not sure who it is, and he chips it just over. But just like 2 massive calamities there nearly just happened, just completely unchallenged.
I mean, why is Shannon there as well? Like, isn't he like a kind of a forward, a bit of a right winger too? And he's just in there going, well, I've got to sort this out now. I'm captain. I've got to do everything myself.
However, England do get a great chance themselves a little bit later when it falls to Ray Wilkins just outside the penalty area. His low shot is just wide. I think this could be a fun game.
A very fun game. And we've got Ray Wilkins again, haven't we? As I said, he's getting younger every single time we see him.
Well, he's technically younger this time as it's his first game.
Yeah, well, exactly. This is it. I mean, he's poor bloke. He's trapped in our forever horrible time machine, isn't he? He's just always getting younger. We're going to get to like the next game and he's going to be in the crowd or something.
Yeah, I
as
was
a
going to
kid.
say, like 1966 final. I don't know who this kid is, but I'm guessing his name is Ray Wilkins.
I think this guy's called Butch because they call him Butch throughout the whole game. They always say Butch Wilkins because that was his nickname. Like,
the water carrier.
yeah, but like, why are they? I know, like, that was his nickname, but even the commentators like, Butch Wilkins on the ball, isn't he doing well?
Just after that, we're 8 minutes in. Lovely work from England with Wilkins, Towers, Channon and Gordon Hill all linking up to make probably the best chance of the match so far. Unfortunately, it's just snatched at by Gordon Hill and Zoff makes the save. Gordon Hill starting quite nicely.
Yeah, Manchester United's Gordon Hill. He, really lively. I think this is one of his first games as well, and he looks good. Mick Channon's actually done well, and England do kind of like settle themselves down, actually. They kind of have got a grasp it for it finally, and they're even doing like little flicks and slight tricks and nice passes, and they're in the game now.
It's a really quick game as well. The pace is rapid, and it keeps going for quite a while after that, up until
Tony Towers to Mike Doyle. Oh, and he's given it away now. Here's Causio for Italy. Played there for Graziani. A chance now for Italy, yes! Graziani the scorer. And England only themselves to blame.
oh fucking hell.
We're back.
We're back. Italy lead 1-0. Graziani after 15 minutes, and well, that was bad. Big Tony Towers receives a floated pass in his own half, but there is some serious backspin on that. And it's almost like a baseball thing or something like that. It really unsettles him, so he's ready to take control of it, but then it bounces in front of him. He's chased down by Pele, who dispossesses him, and Towers fucking clatters him, doesn't he? They both go to the floor, but the ball's just loose then. And you've got 2-on-1 basically. You've got Closio and Graziani. They're now attacking England's lone central defender, Phil Thompson, like sexy gazelles.
Yeah, that is such a good description of what they are. They're just flowing towards him like water, aren't they?
Lovely layoff from Closio and a no-messing finish from Graziani underneath Jimmy Rimmer. And it's 1-0 Italy.
Yeah, Italy jump on him like mustard on a hot dog, don't they? They are all over him.
On Towers.
Oh, yeah, on him. It's straight away. And England have played well apart from that one error. And
the other errors.
Yeah, but well, I think they've got themselves back into the game. They've not done anything too stupid, but that kind of just comes out of anywhere. Like, oh shit, he's lost the ball. Oh, that's the end of it then.
There's a bit of excuse mongery going around as well. The wind, fucking wind. It's Italian 90 all over again.
Yeah.
And the defence does seem to have a mistake in it, though. They also mentioned the grass is quite long.
I mean, on what part? I mean, there's been about 9 baseball games on this, like this week probably. So, I mean, do they keep it short? Do they keep it long? Who knows? But yeah, we've barely got time to refill our giant sodas, and we've got another goal.
Now Calzio. Now Capello. The Italians really taken heart from that goal. Benetti. Oh, Clement didn't get there. Graziani did 2-0. Oh, the long cross there completely fooled the England defence. Over the head of Dave Clement it went. Calzio, the little pass forward. Here's Capello. There's the cross coming in a moment. Phil Neal is the man who is trying to turn it down. Calzio's cross just beating Dave Clement. And Graziani there, 2-0.
Okay. This was less embarrassing, but I've got to say, England have bottled it at the Yankee Stadium.
Oh, they really
They've
have.
got to go there and they've got to get a result, and they've bottled it.
We don't get any of that from Keegan, don't we? He's saving that up for himself.
It's Graziano again. A nice passing play from Capello and Benetti on the wing. Benetti delivers a lovely cross that beats Phil Thompson and falls to Graziano. He lost his marker, Michael Doyle, and he converts from about 6 yards out. Poor defending, really, cost us again, and I'm starting to think this could be a catastrophe in America.
Yeah, big shellacking. We did say this was a fun game, didn't we, ladies and gentlemen? So you may be starting to see why now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Graziano's unmarked, bundles it past Rimmers. Not a good start in hindsight.
In hindsight.
Well, I said they've been doing all right. And then
Yeah,
as I was
true.
watching it, I was like, this could be all right. England are doing okay here. They're playing it around. Like I said, channeling them guys are a bit of a new verve. Wilkins is
Yeah.
running this, and all
Big
of a
Gordon
sudden,
Hill.
Big Gordon Hill, and all of a sudden, 2-0 down out of kind of nothing, really.
18 minutes in, and Jimmy Rimmer is off to a nightmare start. We start to hear boos from the crowd.
Yeah.
It feels mad that because you barely see the crowd, and then you're like, fucking hell, where's all these boos coming from?
And I'm not sure if it's boo. It can't be boos from England fans. I think it's like boo, you're rubbish. Kind of from maybe the USA and the Italy
Yeah.
fans, I think. I'm assuming so anyway, but someone...
You're not even bothered, have you?
Yeah. But someone in the crowd during the celebrations is reading a giant program as well of the game. I assume, like, trying to see who scored. I mean, surely God will tell them in a minute. But, yeah, 2-0. And as I looked on the bench as well, someone had taken the Pele King's, like, shield.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't got it anymore, and he's just, like, smashed it to a million bits or something. Also, he sat on the floor, so they've clearly gone, right, I've had enough of this. You get on the floor. You start warming up. No idea where he's gone.
At this point, I could have said this at any point, but I just thought all of the England players visually, this is such a stupid reference, but all of the England players visually remind me of, you know, the guy in Fawlty Towers who's allegedly sleazy, and what's his name? Bloody Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty.
Yeah.
He's like, I know what you lot get up to, and it's disgusting.
Oh, when he's after
He's after batteries for his electric batteries.
Batteries. Oh, really? Batteries? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I haven't had a shave today. They all look like
Yeah.
him. It's this moppy hair, this foppy, like the shirts are all undone. I
Yeah, well,
mean,
that's exactly the kind of jacket that he'd wear as well, Mick Channon as well. If it's this era, it would have been. There you go. He's in there.
yeah. There we go. England, Italy, they've turned on the style as well now. Not the 70s style, but just the pure football style. They're doing chips over players,
Yeah.
little flicks and all kind of disgusting skill.
Yeah, England and Italy both here didn't qualify for 76, as we said, but I'm sorry, I'll forget the stuffy old Euros. This is exactly where I want to be. You know, if England can get stuffed anywhere, at least do it in the funniest place possible. You might as well just be beaten in a shopping mall or something.
Around the 20-minute mark, then things do start to calm down. England go a couple of minutes without conceding, which is good.
Well done.
They're starting to make chances, but without wanting to make excuses for them. This fucking baseball diamond is an absolute hindrance.
I thought it was going to be the other way around, where the defending team found it harder to actually deal with them defending that area. But as soon as like someone goes forward, actually that's where the problem is.
It's like when you play with your mates over the park when you're young, but you can only find a space where it's like half uphill and half down, and it's like, well, first half will go uphill.
You go into the wind.
yeah, the wind. So you make a bit of a truce. I mean, it's really uneven. It dips up and down as soon as you get to the sand area as well, and it's just like
It's a state, isn't it?
it's a state.
I like the idea that, like, because is there also, because where the pitcher, let's see if that's right, where the pitcher stands, there's like a plate he stands on. Has that been allowed to move, do we think?
That's probably moved. I think that's behind the goal.
Do we think so?
I'm not sure.
Like I say, because the way they're talking about it, it's like some sort of listed building that you can't touch it no matter what. And I'm like, right, whatever. Well,
Joe Royal shows what it's all about. So the floor is no longer lava. He has a shot from within the sand.
he does, yeah. Joe Royal. I've never heard him called Joseph Royal, but he's called Joseph Royal quite a lot in this game as well.
Butch.
Yeah, Butch and Joseph, that's them. As a shot, and it's a bit of a fresh air kick. And as he misses, a massive dust cloud kicks up as well. It's like they're playing on a beach now. I mean, just amazing. The pitch is so uneven as well. Like it dips up and down as you get towards the sanded area. And, you know, I assume the Yankees have got a game in about 2 hours, so they better clear off soon, England.
About 25 minutes in now, I'd completely forgotten that Kevin Keegan was on commentary. You don't really hear much of him. So he's just commentating. The guy, he's just doing his bit, doing his commentary. And then out of nowhere, he'll be like, that's a good pass. And he's gone out for a throw-in. Oh, he's done the throw-in. Oh, good chance, Italy. Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
And Keegan's like, ugh. He says, the Italians are so good at running off the ball. It's untrue. And he also follows that with, they certainly don't need 2 looks at the goal, do they?
I mean,
Have you brought your cliches with you, Kev?
Off the top of your head, just right there as well. Like, it's like he's not... Like he only speaks when spoken to. Like he's got to be invited in, like a vampire or something. Like I love it. Like, but that is the style at the time, really, where a co-commentator was only there as like a colour commentator. So you'd say, actually, you're only there to give opinion and maybe something we missed because you're sat there analysing the game. Keegan's not.
No.
He's not bothered at all. He's just like, yeah, they're running a lot, aren't they?
England, though, they are starting to make the chances. The game is actually completely open despite the score. But it is really hard to explain the effect that this sand has. It's like it like drains all of your confidence as soon as you touch it. It's like the opposite of those strips on Mario Kart where we go over them and they speed you up.
Oh, yeah, I think there's also sand on Mario Kart where you go into it and it's like, and you need to like sludge along for a little while.
Meanwhile, the Italians, they're still at it with their skill, and the commentators are talking about how un-Italian they are with all of this attacking.
I know, it's such a fucking cliche, isn't it? As soon as like Italy score more than 1 goal, oh, not very Italian, this is it.
I don't know where it comes from. Like there must be a World Cup or a tournament where it starts.
Well, I think it's Italy famously defensive-minded play and all that kind of stuff, and Catenaccio and like grinding out wins. But just because Italy score more than 1 goal doesn't mean that they've changed their philosophy. Like it was the same at the Euros the other year when it was like, oh, look at this new Italy team. They've scored a couple of goals, and you're like, well, yeah, because they're a football team. They're trying to win a game. It's not like 1 goal. Like, right, everyone sit back forever now. Let's, against bloody, Liechtenstein or something like that. They're not going to always do that, are they? I mean, Antonelli as well. He has a shot, and the crowd, they are so hoarse at this point. You know, like that video where it's like some young lads like roasting someone, and you just hear them all in the back going like, oh, like that.
Yeah,
you can hear that scream kind of in there as well, which is lovely to hear. And Capello seems to be bloody everywhere in this game. Maybe it's just because I recognised him and knew his number, and they say his name a bit, but he's on the right wing, the left wing, in the middle, defence. He's bloody
He's really
everywhere.
good.
He's really good. He's running around just fueled by pure rage.
That's it, a rage engine.
Yeah.
we hear that the stadium around this point is starting to fill up, and you see a really cool shot of the stand with the players resting and waiting for a throw-in. Did you notice there's the game, what you'd expect to see on football coverage, but there's like a B-reel kind of cutaways that they keep going to, and they look so fucking cool.
I know, it looks really good, doesn't it?
Looks like something from like Lord Don't Slow Me Down, the Oasis documentary. And it's just like really like, I don't know, you never see football filmed like that.
Or something like a behind the scenes of like a Woody Allen film or something like that pops up in there.
Or even on a football level, if you've seen any of those World Cup films.
Yeah, like in the background, like you actually get the regular shots that you get of the pitch and everything, but also there's just like, I think when we had Ratan who got sent off against Argentina in that game that we did, there's a camera that just follows him around like they're doing their own little documentary as well. Yeah. Like you get that too. I mean, when I keep watching this, I keep thinking it's about to break out into a Monty Python sketch or something. It's like the philosopher's sketch or something where there's just nothing but philosophers just kind of walking around a football pitch. And it's like Germany against someone, I think it is.
I haven't seen it,
Oh, it is brilliant.
Shame on me.
It is really good. And it's just like, there's even like an egg timer in their sketches as well, which pops up, which we obviously love. But yeah, it's that aesthetic is amazing because it's in America as well. And yeah, just looks bloody lovely.
It does. Calzio has a shot and Rimmer gets rid of it like a cat.
Well, it's like a cat's jumped at him almost.
Yeah,
like
he's
the
gone, "Fuck off."
He's just like, well, Jesus, what's that over there? Just like throws it away, and he's
He's not up for conceding another goal, is he?
No,
Well,
he's like, oh, it's my debut, it's my dream.
this was his dream.
You're throwing a cat at me now, Jesus. And we're reminded England play America with Pele
Team America.
in the net. Well, they keep saying America on comms.
Do they?
It is Team America, but they keep saying it's America. Actually, I think it may be God talking at one point. He goes, remember, Team America with Pele are playing England in the next game. And it's just like they're building like a pay-per-view or something.
Yeah.
Like Pele will be there. Just come with your money and we'll sort that out for you. Don't worry, Pele will be there.
England featuring Mick Channon.
Yeah.
Mick Channon and the Englands.
Mick Channon will be there. Imagine if you like paid your money and there's no keggy.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, just disappointing.
Speaking of Channon, just around the 40-minute mark, he does a lovely touch to lay off Gordon Hill. It's just a proper delicate little chip, and Gordon Hill is racing towards goal. The crowd goes fucking mental, and the commentator was like, "Oh my God, Gordon Hill, Gordon Hill!" And he's just run into that space, and then he hits the dreaded sand, and it's like the ball slows down so much it gets left behind him, and you see him kind of throw his arms up. It's like, what am I supposed to do at this point?
What am I supposed to do on that sand dune that you've just put in the middle of the pitch there? It's terrible.
As we approach half-time, our relentlessly positive commentary team label Wilkins as England's man of the half. It's hard to disagree, but they're 2-0 down. And they've played well, but I think they're kind of going, well, it's his debut.
Hasn't he done well?
Hasn't he done well?
Bless him. And Keegan's very much kind of like, oh, he's a good lad. I met him earlier. He's a really nice chap, he is, Keegan.
Brookings been good on the wing too, for my money. But we see our first close-up of the England bench, and they look like a gang of dodgy sex tourists,
Have
man.
you seen the one that's got the glasses on?
Well, we've got
on
a
the
picture-
right-hand side with that kind of like Rolling Stones hair with his like mouth open as well. He looks so dodgy.
We've got a picture in front of us that we're looking at. We'll go from left to right. So you've got a man who looks like he sells used cars with them fucking Ray-Ban sunglasses on in his suit. You got Don Revie, who looks like a pervy teacher. You got a man who's kind of obscured. Then somebody looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger in a big red jumper.
Yeah, he looks a big chap, him, doesn't he?
Fucking-
Maybe that's the backup keeper.
Hunch, man. Jesus Christ. And then you got, what do you say, like a Paul Weller type chap?
Yeah, like he's kind of looks a bit like someone out of the Stones or something with like those glasses on.
Mad. Italy get another chance on 43 minutes. Rocca goes on an absolute danger run into the area. He draws the keeper out, and he makes inch perfect deliveries to leave Palucci with pretty much an open goal and a great chance. But Dave Clement manages somehow to stick a leg out and block it. The commentator gets so excited by this.
Yeah, the commentator goes, Rocca, across the goalio, which I absolutely love.
And that's the real last bit of action for the first half. Keegan's summary at half-time then. The score reflects the superiority of the Italian side.
The score reflects the game.
Yeah. The lads have played some great stuff, but they made their own problems too. This Italian side amaze me. They want to attack. I can't believe it.
Again, stereotype of Italy want to play football and go forward slightly. Maybe if your defence wasn't so terrible, then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
And we get a bit more behind the scenes, don't we? You remember in that it was one of the games before when
Northern Ireland,
and the guy was going,
yeah.
it's probably clear now. Right, I'm just going to turn these off.
I'm getting off then if you are. Yeah.
He's
London,
going-
can you hear me?
Yeah, he goes, London, sound only, sound only.
Oh my God, why do you need pictures? You're there.
No, you need monitors.
Oh yeah, but still, like you're at the game as well. But the fact that I'm still not sure why we can see this coverage, like however it's been clipped and stored. Why have we got the raw footage?
Yeah.
But they've got the graphics over it as well.
It's actually one of the better quality streams we've seen as well.
For 76, this is miles better than some of the like 82 was like watching through a letterbox. It was terrible, and this is amazing.
Yeah, I think my thoughts on halftime really echo Keegan's, to be fair, as much as we kind of have a little laugh and a joke around him. He's spot on. England are a young side. We heard early on, actually, and we didn't mention, but Italy have basically played their best side while England have experimented.
Yeah.
It's been equal, but England's defence was shocking quite early doors, and I don't think you can underestimate the impact of that sand dune.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I mean, again, apparently there's a game going on which I just haven't paid so little attention to because there's so much else going on. As we were like going through, I kept noticing different things about people on the bench or whatever. But yeah, England have played all right, actually. I think they've had 2 instances of the brain scramblies, which really haven't helped them, and they're 2-0 down. England should do better in the game next year, because I'm assuming that'll be played against Spain at Red Rocks or something. I mean, where the hell is this going next? And as we say, Keegan just very stereotypical, isn't he, against the Italians?
Well, what would come next is it's the end of the Jimmy Rimmer era.
Aww.
He's off at half-time for Man City's Joe Corrigan. The commentator describes it really like he's not got the job.
Yeah.
It's no reflection on the goalkeeping we've seen at the first half.
But we've gone a different direction.
We've decided prior to the game that both keepers would play a half each.
I mean, Ray Clements is not a real man. He's not playing. He's not coming off the bench. I mean, we've got another made-up person coming on. Why is Clements not here?
We've got a real man coming on as well.
Oh, we really have. I was so made up by this. So Inspector Grim lookalike Mick Mills comes on for Neville from Alfieda's Own Pet lookalike Phil Neal. Great little bit of swap. Pure British sitcom, great swapping in. And Mick Mills as well. Another one with a hair like a lion at this point. Yep. I was so surprised by how forward his hairline was.
Disgusting. Oh, they all look like that guy.
They do. Well, Mick Mills, I was so happy to see him come on. He's become a bit of a favourite player of mine now that I actually know who he is and he exists in the world.
Definitely. Mick Mills is back then, and we're back with a goal.
Free kick. Italians have made no substitutions at all. Here's Trevor Brooking. That free kick certainly was taken quickly. Royal. Now Royal with a chance. Oh, it's there by Shannon. England have got back into the game inside 30 seconds at the start of the second half. Nick Shannon, skippering England for the first time, is the man who scored it. Brooking with that quickly taken free kick, a delightfully floated centre. Royal here had a chance. Soft performed miracles there in goal, but it came out to Shannon, and Shannon finished it off.
Whoa, we're back in it.
2-1 England, 46 minutes. Mick Channon, England's skipper, pulls the team back into it. England win a free kick just inside Italy's half, which is taken quickly to Trevor Brooking on the right, who charges forward and he delivers a lovely low and floated ball into the box. An Italian defender tries to head it before it gets to the foot of Royal in the box, but misses, so he kind of goes to his foot with his head. He misses that, so then Royal's got the ball 8 yards out and he smashes a shot. But Zoff pulls out an incredible quick close-range save. Unfortunately for him, it falls to Mick Channon, who absolutely blasts it home. I don't think we even see the ball go to Channon.
Barely. No, it's a really good finish from Channon, actually, from when you just about see where he picks up, but it's so quick and it's into the top of the net as well. I mean, firstly, handsome Trevor Brooking, quick thinking, lovely stuff.
He's got it all.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as well, Dino Zoff is wearing some scruffy old jumper, it looks like. It's like a grey jumper with a blue polo underneath it. It's like he's a builder. It's just horrible. Like one of Italy's greatest ever players, and he's wearing that monstrosity. Like he's just stumbled out of a Primark.
Well, we're back into it, and with the sand shackles removed, what's going to stop us now? Wow. We're attacking away from that shit now.
We've done our time over there. We've done our turn.
Yeah. After kickoff, Italy try to attack, but they get tripped up by the Sand of Doom before Brooking runs nearly the length of the pitch with the ball. He makes a pass that's just a little bit off, and England's attack breaks down. But they are so up for this now, and I tell you what, they're going to prove just how up for it they are.
Said they may fear Kevin Keegan, but I'm going to make them remember my name as well. Thompson, there we are. Thompson! 2-2, and Gordon Hill takes this corner now for England. Remarkably back in this game. Phil Thompson, number 4, a mighty leap, and somehow it threaded its way through, passed off into the goal.
2-2, who knew?
2-2, who knew? Oh, man, come on. It's big Phil Thompson.
Yeah, Phil Thompson. The commentator mentions that Gordon Hill had said to him prior to the game, I'm going to make them remember me tonight. And he's done a lot in the game to help do that too. But Phil Thompson, there's a corner that comes in deep and Phil Thompson somehow rises to meet it. He kind of heads it and then it goes maybe under Joe Royal's foot. You can't quite tell. And it's a really good header, but also everyone also misses it. and he just kind of like nestles into that corner, doesn't he? And it's just lovely. The home crowd are booing, and I feel like some sort of like pantomime villain, like, yeah, boo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is England, you slugs. Come on.
Keegan says, we've got ourselves a game here, definitely. I wasn't expecting him to be that measured. I was expecting him to go, fucking hell, come on.
He's screaming. You like kind of hear him like his mic's muted, but the commentator next to him isn't muted, and he's just like screaming and dancing around. And
Well. England, who suffered 2 quick goals in the first half, are level with 2 very quick goals of their own. The game does calm down for a second then. The commentator warns us that Italy might be getting up to some tricks.
oh, like another stereotype just to throw in there. Well, they could be doing anything right now, couldn't they?
Yeah, and while we're keeping an eye out for that, something happens.
Shannon. Brooking. Royal is away on the far side there. Gordon Hill's coming to the middle. Shannon's there too. And goal! Shannon! 3 goals in 8 minutes. And England go into a 3-2 lead. The second goal for Shannon. There's the long cross coming in. A beautiful run off the ball by him. Beautifully placed. Through the legs, I think, of Zoff. Incredible, that is. 3-2 to England.
This is ridiculous. England have scored 3 goals in 8 minutes, and now they lead. It's a deep cross from Trevor Brooking. I'll tell you what, he has come out for his second half like a man possessed.
Like a beautiful man possessed, like a beautiful dynamo.
I wish he'd possess you. I wish he'd possess you. His deep cross falls to Mick Channon, who is stretching ahead of his Italian marker and gets his left leg on it, sending it past Zoff. So that is that 2 goals for Channon? It is.
2 for Mick, yeah, he's
And
in there.
England lead. Unbelievable. I am not sure what to say, but England have smelt a bit of blood and they've just acted on it hard.
They just love not being in the sand, don't they? The absolute opposite of loving a beach day, these guys. I mean, yeah, the cross on the right, similar to one of Italy's goals as well, actually, and a really nice controlled finish from Channon. He could have like blazed that over, like we've seen in other couple of chances as well. But yeah, really measured and almost like by accident, it feels like, although they've played really well. They've just found themselves like 3-2 up and just like, well, let's just keep doing this then, shall we?
And in the midst of all this, Revie's on the pitch.
Revie's on the pitch, on the pitch.
Revie's on the pitch. He doesn't look like an on-the-pitch type of guy, does he?
He doesn't. I mean, we've got a still of him, and he just looks exactly the same as he did when they were 2-0 down. It just, no matter what, he is back to doing that, isn't he?
Yeah, we missed him on the pitch, and then when they try and show him next, he's very much on the bench.
On the bench, calmed down a lot, and yeah, one of his assistants, as we said earlier, is like got sunglasses on. He's still got the sunglasses on as well. It's night time, clearly night time.
He's a Brit abroad, mate.
Yeah, best get all that in the suitcase, but I take it back as well. We also get like our first clip of the Italian bench as well. And we get a shot of the bench, and someone is wearing a loud check jacket.
Yeah.
He looks a bit like Charlie from Always Sunny, actually, the guy.
Haven't seen that.
And it's also like the smarmy, not smarmy guy from Fawlty Towers that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
He's in that jacket. It's like, wow, this is the era, isn't it?
Well, as we approach the hour mark, we're just too bloody good.
Yeah.
After the 3-goal flurry, things calm down a little bit. Italy makes some subs. England continue to look good. And the crowd start to warm. They're loving England's quick passing. I've got a quick question. I don't think I have an answer for it, but is there a quick turnaround in an England game for England that you can remember?
It's hard, isn't it? It usually happens to England.
Maybe the Argentina one that we started with.
Yeah, that's quite late actually. That comes late. Isn't I think there's another Argentina game as well. France 98. I think Argentina take the lead in that. And England scored 2 quick goals. I think Shearer scores a penalty, then Owen scores the goal.
Yeah.
I think that's within like 10 minutes. I think Owen scores that like 20 minutes into the game or something. So that's a big turnaround, and you know, we kind of know how that game ended, but it's not something very English to kind of like take your chances when they come straight away.
It's the opposite, as you say. Yeah. It happens to England. What do you think of Italy then at this point?
I think they've totally gone at this, because they've done that thing that happens. They've let football happen to them, haven't they? I mean, England are all over him, and it seems that all they need is a little bit of confidence and just to get back on it. I mean, Italy are so disorganised; they're committing fouls. I think they're just ripping through them, and
it's at this point where they start to force lots of offsides. I feel like Italy are pushing everything forward at this point.
Oh my God. This little bit of play is amazing. So England start to actually sit back and they're just going, okay, let's try and hold on to what we've got, but also take a bit of sting out of the game, but be very, very good on the break. So England break and there's an offside and the commentator says, and no offside. That is ridiculous decision. Yeah. He starts fuming and he goes, a ridiculous decision by the American linesman. I don't think I've ever heard a decision called out so quickly on a first watch by a commentator of him going, he's clearly got that wrong because he's so excited about the game.
He keeps referencing the fact that the linesman's American as well.
Yeah. And there's another one seconds later. Again, the commentator doesn't like the decision, but he kind of catches himself and he isn't quite as scathing as he was before. He waits for the replay and we get, there must be a hairline in that one. Let's see. And we get the exact same angle as we saw before, which obviously isn't the whole of the pitch and we don't see anything. And he goes, well, it's impossible to say. It's just like not letting like that facts get into the way of things.
Just be like, well, we can't prove it actually one way. I don't know what I got so worked up about, to be honest.
No one will ever know. So.
If it's impossible to judge whether it's right or wrong, why get angry about it in the first place?
But also the fact that he was expecting to be like vilified throughout this and he's just gone, well, I look a bit of a prick, but what am I going to do about that?
Every time England win the ball back close to their own goal, they look like scoring. Would Italy now be thinking, well, we're not going to score in this fucking sand triangle, is the game up? Because all the goals so far have been at the non-sand end.
The non-sand end. When will you ever say that again?
It's like in Eurovision or something when it's like, okay, we've got our maximum amount of points now, so all that we can hope for is that the ones below us don't get more, and they've blown it. We had our chance to score. We got 2. That's fine, but now we've conceded 3, so the jig's up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they must be really annoyed by this. The fact that, well, we're playing in that now because they've not taken advantage of that as well. But yeah, I was just really interested to see that it was the other way round compared to what I thought it was about how they take their chances and how they.
Why did you think it would be?
Because I thought defenders actually playing in the worst part of the pitch would be them kind of trying to clear it away, not really knowing what they're doing, like bobbling everywhere, and a bit more risk in it as well, like passes going a bit more astray. But it actually really is a bad thing for the attackers, which we see clearly here.
Around 65 minutes then, big Tony Towers does a lovely bit of skill before whipping in across for Gordon Hill, whose header is saved by the fingertips of Zoff. A really good save, and that would surely have been it. A couple of minutes later, Channon goes down hard just by the corner flag, and he falls down onto more hard baseball surface. And he stays down for a while, and it's my favourite shot of the game where he's down in agony on his lonesome. There's no fans or anything in that bit of the pitch, and there's a ball girl.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think for the game they've got like children almost that have like done it. Like children that have got like, but they're in like the full green and white kit of like, I don't know what it is, but they've all got like a uniform kit, a bit like at Wimbledon. Yeah, like people in green that kind of like go and get the tennis balls.
So you just get this shot of Channon in agony on the floor. Nobody's there helping him, and this girl's just walking around like she's ready to just give the ball back, but there's no one to give it to. So she's just like a bit like,
do I throw it at him?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Bounce it off his head.
Yeah.
More fouls continue. Italy seem pissed off, and Keegan says he doesn't want England to react to these because we've got to go over there in September for World Cup qualifying, and we shouldn't be starting something.
Oh, he's so close, isn't he? He's so close to go there and get something.
That's like the embryo of the idea he would perfect later when he was Newcastle manager. We've got to go over there and something and at this point.
I'll workshop it later. Don't worry about it. Yeah. The main commentator isn't happy with the Italian fouls either. On one, he says, brought down Twickenham style. He just goes mad. He says, they make no bones about it. This is pure Twickenham.
It's like he's like a battle rapper from Twickenham. This is Twickenham style, yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting.
This is pure Twickenham. You're about to get twicked.
But it's like he's saying like it's pure Barclays or something. And then he also has a go at the Italian fans as they're booing a decision by the referee. He says, how would they know? It's like, weren't you just literally kicking off about 2 offsides a minute ago too?
About 70 minutes in now, we're just going to keep running offside and we're just going to keep fouling, try and stop us. More fouls as England continue to slice through Italy at every opportunity. It's just fell offside at this point, and the commentator again indicates that he doesn't believe the American linesman knows what offside is.
No.
What offside is. Sorry. One of his offside calls is actually completely ignored by the referee. Did you notice that bit?
Yeah, there's a bit where the commentator says, and rightfully played on.
Yeah.
It's just like he doesn't even trust him either. We then get a big advert for a Marlboro cigarette. So it's got a child on the front of it in the top corner as well, which I thought was amazing, because it's like one of the, like, you know, like the artwork of like Mad magazine.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like that with like a child like sat on a cigarette box. It's just really, really creepy. The commentator at the start says the Italians would struggle with defending the baseball part of the pitch. Yeah, like I say, it's worked out the different way, hasn't it? And I'm just really surprised by that.
Yeah, we get a bit more interaction from God.
Yeah, God is now just telling us who is crossing the ball.
He's
at
getting
this
into
point.
the minutiae, isn't he, at this point? He's
Yeah.
just all the little details.
Yeah, I've no idea why he speaks, what he finds interesting, what he does, but, you know, that's God for you.
Don Revie has just scratched his balls.
Don Revie is on the pitch. Here he comes.
Italy are maintaining a sense of danger, but between the sand and the linesmen, I can't see them getting a goal, to be honest. And yeah, at this point, I've got to say there's been some really good England performances in this second half. I mean, Brookin has been amazing. Hill's been really good. Channon's got 2 goals. Wilkins has continued to play good. And I think Mick Mills, since he's came on, has been really effective, especially with the amount that England have been charging out from the back.
It's strange to say, like, a kind of like, I don't know where he's played like a centre half or left back or whatever he kind of is, but he's just always involved, isn't he? And he's like winning the ball and being that first person to break as well, isn't he? Which has been great. And
we head into the final 10 and we're into silly business.
yeah, there's a bit of drama and a bit of confusion.
Playing it wide. Capella's coming in hard. The linesman flagging a free kick given. Oh, ridiculous. Well, that is ridiculous. Antonioni has butted Tony Towers, and Tony Towers is being given the yellow card. Well, that absolutely astonishes me. Whether he did something to the Italian number 10 before that incident, but the Italian number 10 came across and butted him into touch. Now, he's getting the... Now he's put his red card out. There's a yellow card for Antonioni as well.
Oh, that is ridiculous. This commentator he is not. He's
lost
not
it.
Backwards in coming forwards, is he?
No, not whatsoever.
To use a cliche. There's been a headbutt. Antonini has headbutted big Tony Towers, and it's all kicking off.
It is. I mean, we're not quite sure what's happened. So, like, Tony Towers has been sent off. Has he? No, I don't think he has. And then it's like, okay, well, I think he's been booked instead. He's been headbutted.
He's been headbutted, and he gets a yellow card, and eventually the ref does yellow Antonini.
Yeah.
And seconds later, Antonini, while everyone's just calming down, I'll tell you what, it's nearly 3-3.
Yeah, he has like a mad shot from outside the area, doesn't he? Because he gets like a free... I know it's not the free kick. He gets like a shot and he just blazes kind of slightly over.
It's the free kick, and it comes in, and it's a first-time volley, but really low. It's about an inch off the floor,
Yeah.
and it goes just wide.
I think that's the incident where he's also like... He's already remonstrating about something else that's happening, and his arms are kind of like stretched out as he's about to take the shot almost, because he's screaming at the referee.
We get a little bit more heavy action.
Towers. Wilkins. Great space again on that far side for Shannon, showing all the acceleration in the world. Look at this for a run by Shannon. Oh, and he hit the post. Well, he left them for dead there with a tremendous burst of pace by the England skipper, Mike Shannon. Scott Maldira beaten all the way. Soft comes out, pass off against the post, the corner.
Oh, so close for England wrapping this up. This is Shannon with a brilliant run down the right, beats his man, and it's saved onto the post for a corner. Amazing from Shannon. And I genuinely feel like I'm going to have to change my opinion of like always slagging him off of being this player I didn't care about or ever heard about.
Yeah, this is a much better reflection, a much more positive reflection of his
Yeah.
game anyway than the previous games we covered. And it's actually Zoff's bum that saves the shot and deflects it onto the post. We've got about 8 minutes to go. Everything's getting a bit silly now. This is bloody stupid, this bit. The ball gets kicked into the crowd, and we hear that in baseball, it's tradition for the lucky catcher of the ball in the crowd to keep it. And it looks like the same is going to apply here. And you get the commentator keep talking about, we're going to need a substitute ball. Is there a substitute ball?
He is loving the fact that England are up and like the game is just being delayed somehow. Like he just can't help himself. Like, oh, they have to get a different ball now. This lucky person's just really kept it for themselves, hasn't he? And he's just like, yeah, just let it carry on. Run the clock down, lads.
We do eventually get a substitute ball. Tensions are high, and despite all this silliness, this is a great turn of phrase from the commentator. He says that Italy are still hounding for an equaliser.
Brilliant.
Hounding. All of their players are in England's half at this point. It's that proper. This isn't a competitive game, but it's become competitive.
We've made it a competitive game
so
because of how good it's
been. Fuck a draw.
Yeah,
like everyone go forward.
We've got to try and do something. Yeah, Italy start to put the pressure on and have a shot over. You know, can England hold on for the last 8 minutes amongst the Yankee organ that keeps going off?
I know my brain can't take this anymore. Like seeing football and hearing that music again. If I was one of the players, I'd be like, stop distracting me.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, we'll definitely hold on. According to Keegan, though, definitely don't want to. Not gonna concede. Not gonna worry about it. They're definitely gonna hang on. And he actually says England are more likely to get another goal, which I wouldn't quite say at this point. I think it's really difficult to hang on. Yeah, someone else is confident, and the Pearly King has returned. Because he sat back on the bench with his shield on the big cross he's got. And some of the England staff have kind of left. I'm assuming it's the players that are now on the pitch. So there's a bit more of a gap. And we actually see it's the biggest bench in the world. It's not individual.
Bench?
Yeah, it's a PE bench from school. It's not individual chairs. It's just a long bench. It's amazing. And he's back on the bench, the Pearly King, getting to sit there. He's back in the game now.
Italy have a chance to get back in the game. They have a free kick from a long way out.
Antonioni now with a kick. Just past the post. Right the life out of every England supporter here in the Yankee Stadium when they come past the wall. And then tremendous relief as an effect just goes wide of the post.
So close.
So close. Oh my God. Proper drama, this.
Yeah, it was brilliant when I was watching it. I loved this.
Yeah, Antonini's still shouting and he has his arms in the air as he hits the free kick, raging and nearly scoring. The game continues. Italy keep pushing and they're not able to make a good chance until...
They've really given everything here tonight, particularly in this second half, England. Here's Spaghetti, though, for Italy. It's not over yet. Another cross coming sailing into that England 6-yard area. Mills couldn't get to it, but Corrigan. Oh, Corrigan's lost it! No, disallowed. Disallowed. Spaghetti had it in the back of the net. Goal disallowed, and the play is on the way again. And England are attacking with Gordon Hill. That was a clever piece of play there by Brooking. Oh, there's a fight going on there between Clement and one of the Italians, Spaghetti. And the play going on the other side of the field. A goal disallowed for an infringement there on Corrigan.
Disallowed goal and a fight.
Oh.
A disallowed goal and a fight. Sol Campbell, where are you?
Sol Campbell with Stuart Pearce added in there. Feet Stuart Pearce.
It would have been 3-3 and England would have had their heart broken for the second time. But if you remember, we said Roberto Dynamite scored very late, so it would have been another heartbreaker. Yeah. But Italy have their own Sol Campbell moment, as we say. So the ball's whipped in, and it's a bit of a rogue header from Mick Mills, a bit of a 50p head. It's going all over the shop. Corrigan comes out to collect it. But agent Fabio Capello, with one eye on the England job about 40 years into the future, backs into him, meaning that Corrigan drops the ball and falls. Facchetti taps it in, but his goal is disallowed because of the obstruction from Capello. The Italians are fuming.
They're not happy at all, aren't they? And also, the English commentator is going, "It's been disallowed." Like he's almost like such a little child.
Nah.
Honestly, that's how he says it. It's in the. You'll heard it then, but he is so annoyed.
I think it's a fair decision.
I think Capello, it is, that puts his hand kind of like in Corrigan's stomach and pushes him a bit. I mean, for this era, it's probably a bit harsh, but he doesn't drop the ball unless he comes into contact with the Italy player. So, I think it's fair as well.
And in the aftermath of that, big Mick Mills,
Yeah.
oh my God, he's ready to fight with Facchetti. Facchetti gets in his face and then he kind of realises what he's doing.
As well, Mick Mills, you can clearly see him. He like clenches his fist and then like decides actually no, and then terrifyingly he like clenches his palm out as well, like he's just going to put him like kung fu on him or something, like big uppercut with the palm, and you can just see his eyes go a little bit dead in the background too.
He was just like pub car park mode, wasn't he then, man? Fucking hell. The camera races up the pitch and there's a fight going on in England's half.
Yeah. We hear from God as well, who's telling the fans to stay off the pitch. So at one point, maybe he's doing it, or maybe they're coming on now, maybe it's about full time, but he's like, everybody, please stay off the pitch.
That's going to work.
Yeah, just don't give them on the pitch. You said the pitch, actually. We can go on the pitch.
You wanted football, didn't you?
Yeah.
You wanted football. This is what you get, mate. You get people fighting.
Yeah, and as well, fully off the ball, an Italian just boots an England player as well who's on the floor. Like the ball's just disappeared, and there's an Italy player next to an England player who's on the floor, and he just looks down and just goes, yeah, you're having some of this. And Mills makes 2 clearances, and England are just about surviving these last few seconds here now.
Yeah, they are trying to push out. It's mainly big hoofs up, but Brooking gets the ball. He makes a nice little run. The Fells ain't stopping, mate. It's chaos in the dying seconds. Clement goes down, and just after that, Bonucci slams Trevor Brooking to the floor.
My God, the foul on Brooking is horrendous and so late. And
It's scary at this point.
Yeah, and just a booking though. Apparently, no other action needed, and ref needs to just blow the whistle.
The commentator, who's been so buoyant all game, goes, the sooner he blows the whistle now, the better. And he's not meaning for England. He's meaning this is gonna fucking kick off quick.
I know. It's like a riot's about to erupt, isn't it? I mean, England then go up the other end of the pitch, and they kind of just find themselves with like a couple of players up there, and instead of like my reaction was, well, there must be someone unmarked in the area, but there's not. England like kind of take it to the byline and then cross it to try and score or waste time by passing it to each other. They go into the corner's not been invented yet. I think I realised that at this point, and they just go in, all right, well, what can we do to waste time? Loop it over the goal to each other? Yeah, let's just do that.
The most difficult thing to do. Like, yeah, the commentator, he's ready for all this to end, but Italy aren't. They are forward again.
On the far side says it's out of play. So it'll be a goal kick. We've played nearly 3 minutes of injury time. Surely there can't be much more. Referee looking at his watch again. England are almost there. For what really would be a great psychological victory with these World Cup qualifying games coming up. There's Gordon Hill making a break from deep, and Rocker going with him. And now the Italians coming away again. Again the referee looking at his watch. Again he's looking at his watch. The last seconds of a very, very exciting game here at Yankee Stadium, and England have won it. 3-2 after being 2 goals down. Graziani scoring 2 in the first half. England coming back brilliantly. 2 by Shannon, 1 by Phil Thompson to score a truly remarkable victory. A final verdict from Kevin Keegan.
I think everybody said, lambs to the slaughter and it's not the best side, but I think we proved that we got a good squad of players, all genuine players who work hard, and I think they kept the cool tremendous, especially last 10 minutes when they were really provoked, and I think it's been a great credit to the squad, and we're all made up obviously for it.
Full time. It is full time, finally. And they're there. The Pearly King enters the pitch to plant his St. George's Shield cross in the heart of Yankee Stadium. It's his pitch now.
This is England. It's all over, and in ridiculous circumstances, England have actually pulled a really impressive performance and a result out of the bag.
Yeah, they really have. And something that you didn't really expect at 2-0. You thought, okay, good performance. They've done all right. An incredible comeback compared to what we saw at the start, and an all-round amazing watch.
Amazing watch. Yeah, it was brilliant. It wasn't just the fact that it was strange at the Yankee Stadium. It wasn't just the fact that it was a good game. I was all ready for that last 30 minutes because we knew the score prior to watching the game.
Yeah.
I was all ready for, once England got the goals, for it to be quiet. But that last 10 minutes of fighting
pulled you back in.
Pulled me back in. We actually see a bit of direct aftermath, which we never usually do. In the direct aftermath of the game, actually, we see about 1 million people come on the pitch in all varieties. There's like everyone is like Paul Simon of varying heights. Just so many different 70s suits. I don't know what's going on at this point. You got players, you got fans or whatever they are, just like One was rubbing a towel over some England player's back, and he's like, "Get off!" Oh man, they could
Like
they
he's a
could not
boxer or
wait to get
something.
out of there.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that you can't tell who's who. You can't tell who's fans, staff, because everyone's kind of like either dressed in 70s casual, so that's like flares and then like a polo shirt maybe, or like the gold suit we saw, or they're dressed in flares and a regular like suit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, who's what anymore then? Who's an official? Who's a fan?
The Italian players are fuming. They look like they're going to continue to kick off. Fans on the pitch harassing the players. It's a nightmare.
Amazing.
And in amongst all the chaos, we actually see a post-game interview with Don Revie on the pitch, and I thought he spoke very calmly and said it was almost boring.
What, in terms of...
Like his interview, like was just. I was expecting him to go, yeah, they were disgusting out there today, but he was just like, yeah, you know, it's a good warm up for Finland.
I think
and
that's
I was like, mate. The Yankee Stadium is on fire behind you. Mick Mills has killed 4 blokes. What do you know, comment on that?
I know. Revie being interviewed at full time, it's so weird in such like an American glitzy stadium. We hear someone so northern just like speaking to everyone around him. And it's someone English interviewing him as well. Obviously don't know who it is.
Oh, he
but
looks like Curly Watts from Coronation Street.
He
man.
does a bit, yeah. But he's like, it's Curly Watts at a 70s do, isn't it?
The aftermath then, we will keep it relatively short and sweet. Italy go on to play Brazil in the next game after beating Team America in the first. And England will have the honour of playing Team America next in what is, I don't know what to, a little teaser. This is an England game that is not officially counted amongst any England records.
Unsanctioned almost.
This Italy one is.
Yeah.
But the one against Team America isn't. And it's Team America with Pele and Bobby Moore. And we're going to cover that soon, so watch this space. One more question to go. Sorry, let me get my breath. Jesus Christ. One more question to go. Nick, was this England?
It was Yankee Stadium. But no, not England for me. Not England. No, a comeback from 2-0 down against a good side. It just doesn't happen.
No, it absolutely doesn't. I don't...
Not even in the fashion where they've gone 2-0 down really early. They've got one back before half time. There's another goal in there somewhere, and then the comeback is complete. It was so rapid fire that you just never see it from an England side.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. That is not England, but what a fantastic performance and result and game and experience to cover that. The USA Bicentennial Cup, and we will be revisiting that soon for England v Team America featuring Pele. That pretty much wraps it all up then. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can at isthisenglandpod@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at isvis_England. Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good night, y'all.
You may be a stranger, that's what time can do. Baby, you mean everything to me.
England really superb performance by them, and there's more England football when England play America and Pele in Philadelphia. You can see that
In a couple of weeks.
Is this England?
now for